So, Mr. Beast, he's not been very beast this week. Basically, the entire internet has, for the last, it's been going on for a while now, but it seems it's really been coming into fruition for the last week. Mr. Bloomin' Beast has just been in a lot of controversy for a multitude of reasons. There's 2 specific incidents this week.
He can't escape it, can he?
Mr. Beast is going to see all the evil allegations, and he's one day just going to snap, and he's just going to buy a nuclear bomb. He's going to throw a dart at the dartboard, and it's going to be like a world map.
Yeah.
And wherever it lands, it can be Lincoln, it can be Kansas, it can be
Brexit Britain.
It can be anywhere, and he's just going to drop the nuke, and wherever it lands, and he's just going to turn to the camera and just give a little wink and say, "You fucking
what? And then he's going to call the video "Nuke in any country my dart lands on."
And in the thumbnail, he's just going to be like.
Yeah. To be fair, right, a man that can just like stare at a wall for 24 hours could probably do some unhinged fucking shit.
There's so much controversy about Mr. Beast and everything that he does and the moral dilemmas of it. But the moral dilemma should be the fact that this man, me and you are the only ones that have brought this up in the last year because we said it before. But this man just stared at a wall and counted to like 1 million or something.
Yeah.
Said Logan Paul like 1 million times. I mean, if there's one reason to cancel this sick man, it's for that.
It's weird because them videos are genuinely more impressive as a human feat than anything he's doing these days.
That's really mean, man. You're gonna get some Mr. Beast fans get angry at this.
I'm complimenting him.
Wait, what? You just said that his videos then were better than what he's doing now.
They're well impressive.
Mate, this bloke is going to Africa and giving shoes to everybody.
Yeah, but that just requires a lot of money, doesn't it? I mean, it's a good thing, but it requires a lot of money.
In terms of like perseverance and determination, I do think counting to 1 million is probably a lot of effort.
Right, Fraser, would you rather stare at a wall for 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
Or give loads of shoes to Africans?
I mean, I'm gonna say give the shoes to the African children.
Exactly. Why? Because the other one's harder.
Yeah. Shut your mouth. The fact that is actually true, and you've just proven your point pretty well there. Okay. All right. Other than that, the reason that this has been controversial, the first thing that he got into shit with, he's got a brand called Feastables, and pretty much it's just cheap chocolate with Mr. Beast's big old mug on it.
Should have called it Beastables.
But yeah. But why are you not calling it Beastables, you silly boy?
Probably because beast isn't a word we associate with eating, but feast is.
Yeah.
I kind of get it. He should have called them
Beastable Feastables.
Beastable Feastables.
That sounds way better than just Feastables. If you want to buy that idea from us, Mr. Beast,
get in touch, Mr. Beast.
But the reason he got into a lot of heat was, firstly, he has this brand, and certain people pulled up some things being like, how the actual chocolate is produced is unethical. And this is where some things I can actually get on board with, because I think the whole conversation with Mr. Beast is a lot of people are deliberately being not very nuanced about it. I think that there is some valid points you can make, but there is some people that are being, on the other side, completely stupid.
This is the thing with the internet.
Some
people either need to be at that extreme or that extreme.
Yeah. There's never like a little middle ground, and I hate to be a centrist sometimes, but you kind of got to be here.
To be fair, sometimes being in the centre makes you the worst because you are just pick a side.
Yeah, but I am picking a side. But I am saying it in an articulate manner, which some silly people on Twitter cannot seem to do. So, firstly, there is the ethical dilemma of how this chocolate is actually produced. The company Mars, how they produce their chocolate is in an unethical way, and I believe Mr. Beast chocolate is made in the same way. But that wasn't the main issue people were getting mad at. Mr. Beast made a tweet being like, "Boys and girls, I've got like a load of chocolate in the supermarket shelves, and it's messy, as untidy. Could you please do me a favour and just go and tidy it up for me?" And this caused a big controversy.
The picture he showed did look like someone had just gone, "I'm gonna f*** that."
I can't lie, mate. After seeing that tweet, if I saw Mr. Beast Feastables just stacked up, I'd just
lever it.
Mate, I don't even have a problem with the bloke, but it's just because I want to be a little nuisance. I just see Mr. Beast chocolate. I just smack it in the face. Say, take that, you pellet.
There was like so much though.
Yeah, there was, and it was a big old mess. But I guess the whole thing was like, you're not paying anyone to do it, and people were like, it's just a bit of a piss take. I don't think he made that tweet with like an evil mastermind plan of like, I'm gonna like get free labor or something like that. I think we know this bloke is happy to give out his money. You know?
Yeah, because to be fair, there's already someone paid to make the aisle look nice again, and that's the people that work at the shop.
When I worked in retail, that was actually a part of the job. When you first started working at Morrison's, the first thing they made me do, maybe it's because they thought I was just completely useless, is they were like, "Mate, you're not going on the tills, you're not going in the back, you're just going to go to around all the shelves and just make things look
it's weird. I actually had this conversation with someone else the other day in retail about this exact thing.
Okay.
Right, if the shop was quiet enough and you weren't serving anyone,
Yeah.
they'd just randomly go, right, go to the dog food aisle and make it look nice.
Yeah,
and it's called facing up.
Mate, it's the worst job in the world. So Mr. Beast, I mean, it's not the worst job in the world. I mean, I imagine working working in a sweatshop is probably a bit worse.
Yeah.
But it's up there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're close, aren't they? An idiot.
Mate, please, just shoot me. But yeah, so people got mad at that, and I can get it. Like, I can get why people were like, it is a bit of a piss take. It was the next part where people really started to get pissed.
So because what you've just said, like, no one really cares.
No, they did last week, all right, but we're a bit late to it. But I thought we combine it into a big Mr. Beast sandwich. You know what I mean? And you can sell out Mr. Beast burger if you want. Oh, that's another thing people are mad at, actually. Mr. Beast burger, and again, I can kind of get this. So Mr. Beast runs Beast Burger, and it is the most atrocious food known to man.
You've had it before, haven't you?
I have. There has been diarrhea over the walls, man. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
It was just explosive. It wasn't, but it was. It made my tummy go a little bit funny.
I had diarrhea all over the walls when Georgia doesn't get me my sweeties.
You are one. You're just a stupid baby, aren't you? You should get a grip of yourself.
I just want my Haribo.
What the fuck are we talking about? Mr. Beast, please, can you release Haribo and send me 6 tons of it?
Mr. Beast would exploit that little chubby baby on the front
Mr.
of
Beast
Haribo.
would punch that little chubby Haribo baby. He'd just start kicking it in the face. And he'd give it a pair of shoes and say, smile for the camera.
Gouge his eyes out. And
Jesus!
Can put him back in and go, look what a great deed I've done.
He just starts fucking He's like, and he puts a little band-aid on his face and he says, smile to the camera.
Yeah. Also, we got you a Lamborghini. I'm fucking 5 years old.
And also there's a pair of clogs, and he throws a pair of shoes at him. So people got mad at the Beast Kitchen as well, because pretty much Mr. Beast Burger, I believe, is made in a ghost kitchen. And Eddie Burback, recently made a video speaking about ghost kitchens and how unethical they are. And they are. If you don't know what a ghost kitchen is, pretty much on apps like Deliveroo, Uber Eats, because of the amount of like there is being ordered on those apps, they need like certain basically factories to mass produce everything quickly and on time. So companies will send out their ingredients and recipes to these ghost kitchens, and there'll be minimum wage paid people in these places.
Yeah, because to carry out the supply and demand that Deliveroo and Uber Eats needs cannot be performed sustainably or viably if it's done in an ethical manner.
Yeah, in a way of like they're in good working conditions, they're in good pay. And I don't care what anybody says. Maybe he's paying the Mr. Beast ghost kitchen workers a bit more than what they're usually paid. But I've seen ghost kitchens. They're not really far from around the corner. They're all over London, and they look awful to work in. They're tiny, and I can get again why people will be mad at that. And this is the thing, right? I think the bloke does a lot of good things, but I do think that a lot of it comes down to capitalism. And like when you go around doing the things like Mr. Beast Burger, the chocolate stuff, there's always going to be an ethical dilemma of getting to that point B to point A, of coming up with the idea, manufacturing and producing it. In that way, there is always going to be people that get exploited.
Yeah, but if he wants to get that level of sort of financial success, he's not going to be doing things the most sustainable and ethical way.
And this is what
he's, to be fair, he's never come out and sort of tried to produce that vision of what his success is built upon. If that makes sense.
But I think you could argue that he should do that, given how rich he is.
Anyone should do it. But
100%.
It's just that ain't the real world.
Like I feel like I pay the people that work for me a good wage. I have a researcher that I believe I pay like £22 an hour, which I think is a pretty fucking sweet wage, right?
Yeah.
They're working part time, but like when they do the work, they're getting a good amount. And I pay my editors on a weekly amount, and I will, even if I don't work on that week and they don't edit anything, I will still pay them the exact amount. Just because it's like I know financially I can afford that, and I think it's only right for me to do that, because I think to kind of make this like housecape that we live in a little bit more better is you can, if you are in a good financial situation, do your best to invest your money into people rather than just yourself.
And
I don't get me wrong, I do like to have money, and I do like to I don't invest in anything, but I like to save. I don't have any property or any shit like that because I just don't give a shit that amount. But I think going back to Mr. Beast, I think he could probably do it in a more ethical manner. But then we get on to the real meat and potatoes.
Well, for all of you non-meat eaters out there, the real potatoes.
Sweet potato, and hummus.
Before we started recording, Fraser started dipping prawns in hummus and eating them.
Mate, it's protein heavy. It's a delicious little snack.
The iNabber allegations. Jesus.
Shut your mouth.
You weird little
Mate, do not disrespect the prawn nation, all right? Okay, so basically, Mr. Beast, he went into South Africa, I believe, and was like, boys and girls, I've got all these shoes, gave like 20,000 people shoes. It's a good deal.
I'm fucked off. You've made it sound like he did that in about 10 minutes.
But okay, there is like, I mean, he might have, to be fair. Bloke just flew on his private jet, landed in the middle of nowhere.
Do you reckon he was just sat on the plane surrounded by sneakers?
I like the idea that they sent him on like an AI drone plane, so it's just him on there. So the bloke isn't even on a chair. He's just strapped down with 20,000 pairs of just Doc Martens around here. But you know, the one thing that the one issue I had with the video is I actually saw the shoes, and I don't think those shoes are given given like the infrastructure of where the shoes were given out. Like the floors didn't look appropriate. I feel like you should give out more like boots or trainers or something, which would like be easy to walk on. Bloke just gave out shoes that we'd wear to school, sort of.
Yeah, but I think you've also got the argument where it's good that the kids have the opportunity to wear.
Mate, don't get me fucking wrong. I am always like, I'm begging for like billionaires or millionaires to use their money in good ways. This is a good way. I'm just saying, like, he could have just thought about it and gave him some, like, I don't know, some Adidas Predators or something. Yeah, no, I do think it's a good thing, and it comes into the whole conversation of nuance. Right now, we've had a conversation about ethics, but we've also said this thing is good, this thing is bad, and I think the problem is there are like a plethora of YouTubers that suck Mr. Beast off.
Yeah.
They suck the guy dry, and it's probably because they know that they're nice to the bloke, they get him into collaborations, and I follow him and he follows me. In fact, he followed me after I was taking the piss out of Mr. Beast Burger. And I think there's a lot of YouTubers who are like kind of coming at this at face value, being like, oh, Mr. Beast has done this thing of where he's going into Africa and people are saying it's bad. There are some people that are saying it's bad. Some people are saying it's sick and twisted. I've seen people being like, why does he have to record it? All of his money comes from recording the things that he does.
There's two sides of it. It's a very good act, and like I think what he's done is great, but there must be some side of it which is sort of like, look at this great thing I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
But because that's how he generates the views and the money to be able to do more things like that.
The main issue people seem to have is like, we shouldn't be in a world where a YouTuber has to be the guy that goes over to a poorer part of the world and they're giving out certain pieces of clothing and just to make their lives a little bit better. We shouldn't live in a world where that's a thing. But the problem is as much as I agree with that, be fucking realistic.
Yeah, but this has been the problem
real,
for decades. Like, the whole premise of charity is that we have to do charitable acts.
Yeah, because like
charities need to exist because governments aren't doing it for us.
I would absolutely love a socialist utopia where everybody has a house, everybody has some shoes, everybody has clothes, and everybody can live a nice little life. But sadly, we're not going to be living in that world for a very, very long time, if ever. I think as much as you can say these issues, and I don't say you shouldn't say them, because you should ask the question of why is this even a thing, but to take that and use it as a criticism towards Mr. Beast directly, I don't think is fair. I think he's done a very good thing here. Even if he is doing it for himself, I still think it's a good thing.
Yeah, even if he's doing it for his own self-image, which, you know, I don't know the guy, so I can't really say if he is or not, but the fact that it's still having probably a net positive. Yeah,
people are getting benefit. Like, I saw a tweet, it was like all these people on Twitter being like, oh, this is such a terrible thing because he's making it about himself and he's profiteering off it. But it's like, but then they were like, but think about those people, that the blind people, for example. Think what they've now got access to their fucking eyes and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're not going to be bothered about the ethical. People out of Twitter like don't care about this thing as much as like there is things people should care about. Like, people don't care about the majority.
Even if Mr. Beast came up to me and went, "Can I give you these really expensive traders?" But the caveat to that is, I'm going to film it.
Yeah,
you're not going to go, no.
Yeah, man. Like, it's like do your thing. There was a few videos out there as well, which I guess you could be like, yeah, this is not aged well, for all of his calls. Oh wait, I think we can't actually. So the guy has privated his Twitter account.
Well, like the last 20 minutes.
Literally the last 20 minutes. But pretty much it's a video of Mr. Beast going up to a homeless person, giving him something, and asking him to smile on the camera. And he, at the end, and he's like joking around, being like, see, homeless people don't care if I use them for charity. And this is quite an old video. Use them for views.
I mean, that's not great.
Yeah.
And also, exactly. I don't really like the videos a lot either where people are just going up to homeless.
Disgusting, yeah.
Because like that is where it's like you're just doing that to make yourself look better.
Yeah, because at least Mr. Beast is doing this on a grand scale. It's not like he's going up to just one person and being like if Mr. Beast went up to like one random homeless dude, recorded himself being like, I've just given this guy this stuff. It's like, to be fair, the bloke is going up to thousands of people at a time, changing their lives. That is fine. I can take the bad for the good sort of thing. I can see a guy who probably is doing it for his own like self-gain, but he is also changing the lives of people, whether it's moral or not moral.
Yeah, maybe it isn't great to record all of them people and, you know,
there was
do it to make yourself look better, but also the impact that it's having sort of means that it doesn't really matter that he's doing that.
There was one part of the okay, and I get why he did it because it is about shoes, but there were like tons of like up close shots of the kids' feet, and I'm like, did he just get a cameraman to go up to the kids? He's like, just show us your little pinkies, and they were just following along. That was a part where I genuinely thought uncomfortable. Maybe it's because feet grossed me out, but it was just the fact that he's gone up for the close up shots, man.
The close up dogs.
Yeah, he's getting the dogs on camera. Yeah, but I think that what we can sum this up with is just like, I think the problem is, again, it's like, I'm not trying to be a middle ground. My stance on it is I think there is an ethical dilemma here of how things are produced, how things are actually coming into place, but also at the same time, you cannot deny that lives are being changed. And I don't really think many people are denying that. I think both sides are being quite unfair onto each other. But the people who are just being like, oh, it's people just getting mad at Mr. Beast for being a nice act. I don't think people are getting mad at a nice act. I think people are getting mad around the bigger grand scale issues. But again, that's not really Mr. Beast's fault. The systemic issues of the world aren't directly Mr. Beast's fault.
Well, no, it's just like an example of, you know, the disadvantages of like capitalism.
Yeah. Like this, like your issues are with the system, not with Mr. Beast.
Well, yeah, there's just the consequences of a high demand society that we live in.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think I got a similar take to when we spoke about him curing the blind people.
It's
like multi-millionaires aren't going to be doing everything
for a moral, for a personal moral
ethical
reason. Yeah,
because if you're able to make that much money, you're going to become a little self-obsessed.
And also, if you've made that amount of money, there's no way you can get to a point. I think Mr. Beast has over 100 mil, and there's not really many ways you can get to having 100 plus mil in an ethical way, other than like, there are very few ways. I mean, if you write a sick book series and you sell the books and you get millions off that, that's a pretty ethical way to make money for the most part. But even then, you can say, well, mate, you're fucking mass-producing books, which is pages from trees, and those trees come from certain areas of the world. It's like, there is honestly, like, I hate to bring up the most generic phrase of all time, but there is like no ethical finish it for me.
Consumption under capitalism.
Thank you.
But also, like, sure, some of the things you do are a bit sort of, you know, off. Yeah. And they're like, you know, criticisms you can have, but by no stretch of the imagination is he, you know, any example of the worst that is out there.
Yeah, exactly.
He's, you know, very tame as a evil capitalist can get.
Yeah.
If anything, you know, I think his heart is for the most part in the right place.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he's probably a nice dude, and I think that each side needs to understand each other's issues. Issues have more nuance on both sides, and it's like, we could just have a very easy and polite conversation about this without going at war with each other, but you know, I guess you can't do that, because if you criticize Mr. Beast, his fans will just fucking eat you up like they eat Mr. Beast burgers, and if you criticize people criticizing Mr. Beast, they'll also just, I don't know, go absolutely mental at you.
Yeah, but then again, when you get to both extremes, people are too fucking self-absorbed.